Everybody has an opinion about your life. That sounds kind of harmless at first, right? But what's really insidious about this is how it just creeps up on you. You hear things like, you're not good enough, or you're never gonna make it, or man, the absolute worst offender. Just be realistic, stay normal. And slowly, without you even realizing it's happening, those external voices become your inner voice. You start living for them instead of for yourself. You stop taking risks, you stop speaking up, you literally abandon your own ambitions because you are absolutely paralyzed by the fear of what people might think. But listen to me, let this brutal truth really sink in. The world does not reward people who seek approval, period. Most of the people out there criticizing your ambition are already losing in their own lives. They want you to stay small, right? Because then they don't have to face their own lack of effort. But the exact moment you stop needing their validation, that is when you become dangerous. Today we're looking at the story of a guy who lost absolutely everything the moment he cared too much about opinions, and exactly how he became an unstoppable force the second he finally stopped.
Part 1. The Prison of Opinions and the Danger of Psychological Chains. So let's meet Marcus. He's a young guy, incredibly talented, highly ambitious, but completely and utterly trapped.
You can literally feel the stacking pressure just crushing him. Every single decision he made depended entirely on the temperature of the room. His parents? Well, they wanted safety. They wanted the secure job, that totally predictable path. His friends wanted comfort. They wanted the Marcus who wouldn't outgrow them, the guy who wouldn't trigger their own deep insecurities. And social media? That demanded total, flawless perfection. And the result of all this? Marcus became a fake, shrunk-down version of himself. He smiled when he was internally broken. He nodded and agreed when all he really wanted to do was scream. He shrunk his entire existence down just so the people around him would feel comfortable. The whole atmosphere of his life became claustrophobic. His soul was dying.
Every single night, he'd lie there, staring up at the ceiling in the pitch dark, asking himself this one agonizing question. Who am I actually living for? And the answer was, not himself. He was living for strangers, for opinions, for this fleeting, useless sense of approval. He realized he was locked in the most dangerous prison on earth. It didn't have iron bars. It was built entirely of psychological chains and this deep, paralyzing fear of judgment.
Part 2. The brutal breaking point, when everything collapses. This was the day the psychological prison finally shattered, the day Marcus lost his job.
And for the first time in his entire life, he saw the unvarnished, harsh reality staring right back at him. Nobody was coming to save him. Nobody. The very people he had spent his whole life shrinking himself down to impress, they disappeared. Friends stopped calling. People who he thought were in his corner actually mocked him. Some even secretly smiled, actively enjoying his failure. Because here's the thing, the world only throws parades for winners. Absolutely nobody respects weak, approval-seeking energy. When you fall, the crowd doesn't rush in to pick you up. They just look for a better view of the impact.
That night, Marcus sat entirely alone. No phone to scroll through, no music to drown out his thoughts, no cheap distractions whatsoever. Just pain. Total, heavy, isolating silence. Because it's right there, in that exact darkness, when every single comfort is stripped away, that a man actually meets himself.
In that absolute silence, something just snapped. A deep, cold, inner rage was triggered. He realized he'd spent his entire life asking, what will people think? Instead of asking the only question that actually matters in this world, what do I actually want? This wasn't just a passing thought. This was a profound, foundational psychological shift. That desperate need for judgment, it just evaporated, completely replaced by a cold, unstoppable determination. That one realization changed his DNA forever.
Part 3. The Silent Transformation and the War Against the Old Self. The very next morning, Marcus mentally disappeared. He initiated a total all-out war against who he used to be. He completely cut off the supply of explanations. He stopped arguing with the doubters. He stopped trying to convince the spectators. While everybody else was out there busy talking, gossiping, and judging, Marcus simply worked. Gym, books, business, discipline. That was his entire world now. Fast, aggressive pacing, just grinding in the shadows, day after day, night after night. No cheesy motivational quotes on his wall, no applause. Zero audience clapping for his early mornings or his late nights. He didn't need motivation anymore. He had raw, unyielding discipline. And of course, people started whispering. They called him obsessed. Oh, he's gone too far, they'd say. But here is the gritty reality check. Weak people call it obsession. Strong people, they call it discipline. His strict, unbreakable routine just reminded the weak people around him of their own pathetic excuses. While they made noise, he cultivated a cold, calm, terrifying confidence.
Let's track this evolution, because it is wild. Month 1, ignored and mocked, completely cast aside. Month 6, the silent, dark grind where the foundation is poured in complete isolation. By month 12, powerful, elevated, and suddenly highly respected. His body had changed, his mindset had changed, his sheer presence commanded any room he walked into. It is a dark, undeniable irony of human nature. The world laughs at you when you are weak, and then they quietly take notes and study you when you become powerful.
Part 4. The truth about respect and becoming uncontrollable. Listen to this uncompromising law of reality. You will never, ever be truly free until you completely break the chains of needing everyone to like you. If you are desperate for approval, you are literally handing the remote control of your life over to the masses. Think about it. What even is a controlled person? It's someone whose actions, potential, and ultimate greatness are completely handicapped and limited by their need for societal approval. If approval controls you, people control you. And let me be perfectly clear, a controlled person will never become a legend. They will never become a warrior. They will just be a really well-behaved prisoner.
Every legend, every warrior, every highly successful individual in human history has reached this exact moment. The moment they looked in the mirror and finally said, enough. Enough fear, enough seeking validation from people who simply do not matter. Enough pretending to be small just so others can feel big. True transformation does not begin when life gets easier. True transformation begins the exact second you stop caring about judgment.
It really just comes down to brutal math. If you fail, they laugh at you. If you succeed, they envy you and try to tear you down. The spectators are going to judge you no matter what the outcome is. So why on earth are you giving them the power to write your story? The game is completely rigged if you play for the crowd. And honestly, this completely validates the anti-approval mindset.
So the directive here is simple. Number 1, build yourself in the dark, in the silence. Number 2, master yourself. Take that inner pain and that rage and turn it into razor-sharp focus and unstoppable ambition. And number 3, respect yourself. Stop living for the cheap seats. Stop living for the spectators. You have got to cultivate a self-respect so incredibly deep that the opinions of others simply bounce off you like rain off heavy armor. Because at the very end of the day, when the lights go out and the crowd goes home, the world does not respect approval seekers. The world respects strength. So ask yourself right now, are you going to keep living in the prison of their opinions, or are you finally ready to become unstoppable?